Hi guys, so I went ahead and this is an eye with makeup and this is an eye without makeup. So I did a little tutorial that I have coming up of this particular eye look with the Maybelline Their Nudes palette or The Nudes palette. It is a brand new palette that Maybelline put out, sort of like a first of its kind, palette type product for a drugstore. So you can see this is the look that I achieved with this palette. So stay tuned for a tutorial. Hang tight. Okay guys, so for the purpose of this video, which I'm reviewing the Maybelline Nudes palette, and I'm going to do a look with it, I kind of want to show you just in general, and I'll probably do this every time I do a look. I use 3 general brushes. A flat eye brush, which happens to be an e.l.f. brush, and I believe it's just called the eyeshadow brush. A small pointy type brush. And a fluff brush. So those are your 3 basic eye brushes. And these happen to be Eyes, Lips, Face Essential brushes, so they are cheap. Also, for the purpose of this, I have already done my makeup, which just means some BB cream. I didn't set it or anything like that. And I did my eyebrows. So the other things that I'm going to be doing, I am first going to go ahead, and you should do this with any look. You should always prime your eyes. And for the purposes of this, I'm going to go ahead and use actually some Urban Decay primer, because that is what popped out of my drawer first. So that is the Urban Decay, just the basic primer. This is one that just happened to come in with a palette that I purchased, and I'm going to get a little bit of that out and show you how I disperse that on my eyeballs. So basically, you just want to cancel out any veininess that you have. Some primers are going to do that, some are not. I can't really say that this one does completely. I have an e.l.f. primer that I use that does do that completely, and actually I think I'm going to put a little bit of that on because I want to cancel this veininess out in my eyes, and I was looking for this before I found that one. I really like this e.l.f. Basics line primer. I've been using it since the last time I ordered from Eyes, Lips, Face, and I really like it. And I think it's $1 or $2 or something absolutely ridiculous like that. So this is the palette itself. So one of the things that I'm going to go ahead and start out with is just sort of do an all over color, and I'm going to use this color, which is a very light brown color, more of like a beigey, and I'm going to do that all over, and I'm going to put that on with a flat shader brush. This is the first time that I am putting any of these products on, and I'm going to use this particular color literally all over my eye. And I'm going to go ahead and do my other eye. And I want to show you guys how to do really quick day looks, and maybe even punch it up for a nighttime look. But you can see that is a matte all over color. Kind of goes on your eyes just like that. The next thing that you want to kind of choose is which color you want to use on your actual lid before you go in with a crease color. And I think that I'm going to use this gold tone color right here. So I'm going to use my flat shader brush again. And if you're just using light colors, it is really quite alright to go ahead and use, as long as it's something that's not going to muddle the shade, you can use the same brush. The one thing that I will tell you is I'm definitely getting a lot of fallout on these shadows. Not fallout on my face, but fallout, or so far I'm not, but fallout in the palette itself. It's just really powdery, and when I put my brush in, I'm getting a lot of kickback. If that makes sense. I'm kicking up a lot of dust. So, I have kind of I wouldn't say that I have hooded eyes, but I have slight hoodedness. So I'm not going above my hood. I'm going to save that for my crease color. So, and I'm going ahead and doing the next eye. So I think that that looks pretty nice so far. It's like a goldy color. We definitely need to add some color to this look. So I'm going to go in with my little pencil shader brush. Let's see, this is called the crease brush. And I'm going to go into my crease with it, which is a fantastic idea. So I'm going to go ahead and use one of these deeper brown colors. I'm going to use this. So because I have a hooded eye, you can see specifically where I'm placing this. I am placing it literally in and above my crease. And I am going to be going back in and blending this. So I'm taking it all the way out to my eyebrow. You can see. Okay? And I'm going to add a little bit more of this particular color in because I want it to show up. So I'm going to kind of go over there with some more color, and then I'm going to be blending it out. So right now I look like Miss Paint by Numbers. Go ahead and do the same exact thing on your other eye. Always remember that just like your eyebrows, your eyes are sisters, not twins. So, I mean, you don't have to be like, oh my God, is this exactly the same? Because when you go back in and you blend it, you will even it all out. And sometimes the shades get muddled and you can go back in and fix them. So this is where your big fluffy brush comes into play. So you're going to go ahead and go in and you are going to blend. I like that. Make sure that you don't go too far into the corner of your eye. You want to leave this on like 3/4 of your eye when you are blending. And always remember that one eye could end up looking a little bit darker than the other one. So you can go ahead, you can go back in and do some correction on that. And I still have a little bit of color left on my shader brush. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that on my eye. And just blend, blend, blend. So then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take that shader brush that I had, and I'm going to make sure that there's not a lot of color on it. I always keep little face wipes and tissues nearby so that I can wipe off my brushes. If you're using some sort of serious color, you definitely want to make sure that you completely clean off your brush. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in with this as a brow highlight shade. And this will really like show off the look and show me what I did here, which is it kind of like highlights everything. So you see that? I mean, I think it turned out really, really beautifully. And this would be a really, really nice look for, say for instance, like a daytime date or the office or something like that. So I'm not finished yet. I'm still going to do some cleanup, and I'm also going to add a little bit of a smoky look to this. So this would be the day look. So you could literally stop right here. But let's say you wanted to smoke this out. We're going to use this color here that's above the black. And we are going to use the little shader brush, which we can use in the corner of our eye too. We use this for, this is the same brush that I used for my crease. So, and you see what I'm doing? I'm like blowing it out after I put it on, but I'm blowing it out in a specified area. So I'm just going into that corner of my eye and blowing it out. Now, do you see the difference between both eyes? I'm going to go ahead and blow it out a little bit more. So that's much lighter and that's much smokier. So, and you'll definitely see a difference on both eyes. I'm going to smoke out this eye now. And again, you're just taking that dark shade or whatever dark shade of your choosing. In this case, I'm using the one above the black. And I'm literally just going into that corner of my eye. And then once I place the eyeshadow, then I am blowing it out. But I'm blowing it out. I'm not blowing it out like I am with a fluff brush, sort of all over. I'm just doing it right there. So that kind of gives you that smoky look, which I think is really nice. So one of the other things that I'm going to do, I'm going to use my flat brush again. And I want to add some more of that shade that we put right on the eyelid, because some of it gets muddled along the way. I mean, that just happens no matter how good or inexpensive the eyeshadow is. It happens. But that nice gold color adds such a nice pop that I want that to be added back in. And I'm not going over any of the areas where I put the darker shades. I'm literally, you can see, just putting it in the center of my eye for like a pop. So that's basically it for the actual eyeshadows. And now I'm going to go ahead and do some liner. But what I'm going to do is actually, I want to use one of the eyeshadows in here to do a liner, which I think is something that can be accomplished. And I think it's something that people don't think about whenever they think about their eyeshadows. Your eyeshadows can be used as a liner. And so what I'm doing is I'm spraying a little bit of water on a liner brush, okay? There's a little bit of outspray. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into both of these colors, this brown and this black. Do a little bit of both, and then I'm going to line my eyes. And the nice thing is that you're using a shadow and you're using your same palette. It's a matter of having the right brushes, you know, a little bit of water around. Now, is this going to stay all day? I mean, it'll give you some good, I'd say it would give you some good longevity, but, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of a wing. So I'm going to use that brush and pull it out, just with the black this time. And that kind of defined the eye, which is really nice. And, but like in a simple way, not in like some sort of dramatic kind of way. But I just want to show you that you can use shadows for liners and you can get, you know, a lot of longevity out of your palettes by doing this. Because, I mean, a lot of palettes will give you this big amount of a black product and you're not going to use the black as a shadow very often. I mean, you might use it as a corner color, but you can go ahead and use some of these darker colors for